The poor caretaker. I fear his long-standing duties here have affected him.
I fear my long-standing duties here have affected me. Let me see if the stagecoach is anybody helpful. Nobody really stands out. Okay, so first I'm gonna what disease does Dureri have? Ooh, the red plague. Yeah, I'm gonna get that treated. After that, I think I can afford stress treatment for some of these heroes. So let's cloister the leper. Okay. And so Boissel can only flagellate. So how about Montfort? And honestly, that's all I can really afford to spend, because we're kind of broke right now. So let's get straight back into a mission. Also, I think I forgot to do the intro. I could still attempt to get the Ancestor's Signet Ring. It would get me 15,000 gold. The problem is I'd have to bring the heavily stressed Vestal. Or the Strestal, as I'm calling her. But I have a plan. It probably isn't a good plan, but... Oh, this is just a weak Shrieker. But... So I got the Vestal, I've got Koliar, and now I just need 2 good front runners. So... Let's see... I'm sticking with champions for this mission. So... Let's go with Tinel and Bowen. This team has a little trouble attacking the back line, but I think it's acceptable. Alright. Unequip all trinkets. Sort my character class. And... let's just go all in on the healing for the Vestal for this one. Bright Tambourine, which improves his stress skills. And we're going into the, we're going into the Wield, so you're definitely going to want him to have good bleeding. Let's see. I'm going to go with the Immunity Mask, because we're going into the Wield, so there's a lot of Blight. And the Fortunate Armlet for the increased accuracy and critical chance. Let's see. So, Heaven's Hairpin is probably good for our Hellion. And... let's see. Tempting Goblet is good for a tanky character. But the Martyr's Seal is probably what I actually want you to have. Okay, as for your abilities, alright, I like what you've got. Same thing for the Leper. Yeah, this is a good combination of skills. I find the preferred position indicator kind of funny. It's like, yes, he really wants to be in position 3. And the Vestal has what the Vestal always has. Okay, we're taking on a bit of a risk here. But let's try it. I mean, would I really still be myself if I didn't take unnecessary risks? I mean, unnecessary risks have kind of become my brand at this point. Alright, one more of those, and a couple of skeleton keys. That should be sufficient. I think I can pull this off with this team. It's not going to be easy even with 3 champions. Yeah, beast and corrupted human alike. Good thing about these creatures, they all bleed.
Has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil.
Okay, this layout is actually pretty advantageous. Great. Well, we got away with it, but...
are often low on supplies.
You know, you probably want to save that line for slightly later in the mission. Okay, Hateful Virago. Well, the good news about this team is that while they have a bit of a weakness when it comes to attacking the backline, I do at least have Iron Swan. dazzle this one. We cannot. I'm just gonna use heal then. And one of them's dead anyway.
Destroy
Iron
them
Swan.
all.
And unfortunately not. Harvest. In that case, I'm just going to go with Inspiring Tune. Yep, that was the plan. I'm just using Inspiring Tune to manage stress.
Confluence of skill and purpose.
And yeah, from death comes life is a bit of a problem. And Putrefying Breath. Stick with Inspiring Tune on the Vestal. And I'm going to stick with Iron Swan for you. Unfortunately, it's going to take a little while to get rid of the Virago. However, I don't know if the necrotic fungus itself leaves behind a corpse. If I can get rid of it, then we get our healing abilities back temporarily. Of course, I also have to deal with the fact that the slimes have the ability to replicate themselves. Inspiring the Vestal. The good news is the Vestal's pretty much going to be done with stress by the end of this. The bad news is the Hellion is getting into a position where healing is going to become absolutely necessary. So...
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
That's good. Now, if we create another corpse, then he'll be able to do that again, and if we don't, then the ectoplasm will be able to replicate itself. I'm going to gamble and go for if it bleeds on the Virago for now. Unfortunately, it does not bleed. But the other thing about getting rid of the corpse in position 1, or well, the fungus in position 1, he's within range of harvest now. Fetid sensor, that ain't good. Fortunately, everybody's been doing a pretty good job of resisting blight. And if I can just get everyone nice and healed up before he creates the fungus again, I should be okay. Hew and miss. That's fine. If it bleeds, it does not bleed. Wait a second, if enemies don't leave behind corpses, he can't use From Death Comes Life. I didn't really think about... I have only really had him use that twice, so I didn't really think about how I could exploit that, and I just accidentally used the wrong ability. Well, and I also missed trying to stun him. Well, okay, the corpse is gone, he can't use From Death Comes Life. Unfortunately, we need to get rid of the ectoplasm soon, because it is probably going to replicate. So I suppose, after this many opportunities untaken to replicate, can I really... Is it just not going to? And he can apparently use Ruinous Hex on whomever he feels like. Well, there we go. That's the end of the Virago.
Enemy crumbles.
And... Wicked Hack.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Yeah, that's what a trifling victory looks like. Welcome to champion level! Okay, I can fix the shuffling, sort of. Okay, this is bad. This is very bad. Well, let's see if I can get myself out of this mess. Purge has a 100% base knock... Okay, it has 100% knockback, he has 115% move resistance. So, actually, other than Solemnity, which I think would be a mistake, the only thing he can do is chop, and just slowly hack away at the Corrupted Giant. Let's see. I don't need Iron Swan, so I'm just gonna let her join in the attack on the Giant. Great, we just got ourselves back into something resembling position, and then he does that. Anti-venom. Alright, I'm just gonna go with Slice Off. See if we can get rid of the giant quickly-ish.
One's limits.
Unfortunately, we probably can't. Him moving won't do any good. So instead, I'm just going to use Slice Off again. And Dazzling Light. And Dazzling Miss. Alright. Give me a Dazzling Chop. I wouldn't really call it dazzling unless it gets a critical hit. Ah, great.
From becoming unwound.
An end to my torment at last. Alright, so just move one. Okay, Rain of Blight on two people who pretty much can take it. I have an idea. Start with Battle Ballad. Won't do much, but there's not a lot the Jester can do. Gonna have to deal with Embrace the Dark. Alright, Divine Comfort, just to get Bowen off of Death's Door. Oh, you can use If It Bleeds from position 3. Okay. I'll worry about getting us back into formation when this thing is dead. It's almost gone and we need it to be completely gone.
Waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
And Tree Branch Smackdown!
Perched at the very precipice.
I gotta admit,
of
Bowen has done a
oblivion.
good job of resisting the move effect. And Solemnity, getting back off of Death's Door. Alright, stick with Battle Ballad. I really need the Vestal to move herself. Alright, there. Now we're almost in formation. Yeah, that initial being out of position when the fight started really threw us off.
The bigger the beast, the greater the glory.
Also, Battle Ballad is rather useful when you have a leper on your team.
Blow.
That extra accuracy and critical rate does a lot of good. In fact, I'm just gonna stick with that. I have a plan. Now that the Vestal is properly in position, she can do more healing. And between the increased accuracy and the increased critical rate, I should be able to take these two out just using the Vestal and the Leper. Like so! I'm actually going to go with Inspiring Tune now. The stress levels are getting a little high again. Okay, hats off to Bowen. He has been
This
awesome
expedition
this
at least
mission.
promises success.
Just look at it. The guy managed to get knocked into Death's Door twice, resisted a map. A map of nothing apparently, because it says I found a map and it went to the map screen and then it didn't tell me anything. Okay. But Bowen managed to get knocked into Death's Door twice and resisted the knockback both times to stay in position. And then and then for the latter portion of the fight, he just decided to get every critical
Ambushed
that
by
has
foul
ever
invention.
existed. I'll get that on the way back. Alright. Yep, time for more violence. Versus light up the
The way
torch.
is lit. The path is clear.
Gotta admit, doubling
require
up on
only the
trinkets.
strength to follow it.
Doubling up on trinkets that increase her ability to grant healing is very helpful.
Devastating blow.
Chop. Oh, that even hit. I was honestly expecting that to miss. He's bleeding for 3. He has 13. That should do it. Yep. Okay, that's the end of one bombard. Which is important because I want to avoid
Great is the weapon that cuts on its
Mark
own.
Prey as much as possible. Of course, as soon as I... Okay, and it missed. Groping Swipe isn't that dangerous. It is marginally dangerous, but it isn't that bad. Okay, stick with that. Won't do a lot of direct damage, but I'm actually going with a bandage rather than Adrenaline Rush because I want the bombard, and it was pointless. I wanted the bombard to die, but nope, we're just in for some Rain of Blight. And reign of disease, too.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle.
Okay. Though, you know, I've kind of gotten what I wanted. I said I wanted to avoid Mark Prey, and so far we have.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Of course, now that I say that, everyone knows it's going to... Oh, and now it can't. It can't use Mark Prey anymore because it's too far forward. All it can use is Escape Cloud. Of course, I also wanted to avoid Escape Cloud, but you can't win them all, I suppose. As Koliar just demonstrated, you indeed cannot win them all. Alright, just go with Chop, go to the Bombard. The Clawer by himself isn't much of a problem, which means this is actually an opportunity for us to kick back, you know, take our time and get some healing while we're doing this. Alright. Though I suppose I can't afford to take too long because we need to get rid of the, because if we take too long, more enemies will show up. So I do need this thing to die. It could be a bit of an issue with its protection being that high. Let me guess. Oh, no, but it missed. I was expecting her to get blighted again as soon as I cure blight. Okay, Inspiring Tune on the person with the most stress. And yeah, I'm gonna go with Judgment. And miss. Yeah, I'll let Bowen be slightly below full health. I can heal him in the next fight.
Be wary.
Or we do not need 36 food.
Dizzying fall.
30 food. It's an heirloom chest. We have several keys. I may as well use one. And nope, we actually only get heirlooms, so that was a bit of a waste of a key. Alright. No use for that because I don't have holy water. Whoa! I also don't have scouting, despite supposedly having a map.
Evil intent.
Virago and some maggots. Well, the good news about this position is that since the maggots don't leave behind corpses, Virago can't use death from life on this one. Life, or... yeah, it's death from life, not life from death. Do they even have abilities that exploit marks? This is actually a really odd team composition for the enemy. Though I'm also not used to Grave Nibble doing this kind of damage. Alright.
Destroyed.
Okay, that leaves just the one. And when I'm done with that, he's also going to be in range of a lot of our most damaging abilities. Now I may as well just go for healing. Though Virago is pretty durable, but with nothing to hide behind, he isn't really that bad. I mean, that is kind of bad, but manageably so. And
obliterated.
Look how it turns out, Virago. You're all by yourself. Also, I just noticed something. The skull on Hateful Virago looks a lot like the skull on the shrine, the curio that you can interact with holy water that was in that last hallway. Like that's a shrine to the Virago, and using holy water like purifies it or something. It's just kind of an interesting thing to notice. I wonder if that's intentional. Putrefying Breath. Alright. I may actually be able to finish this with full health. Almost.
Foolish horrors.
Open the unlocked
Brought low
strongbox.
and driven into the mud.
Okay, well, this was definitely worthwhile in the sense that there was a hallway, there was a room battle, I believe, in every room.
The promise of safety.
But yeah, this thing. Looks like it has the same skull that Virago has. Like, this is a shrine to Hateful Virago. Also, whatever that quirk is, I really...
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Okay, that was 3 consecutive times that that quirk activated. Compulsive, yeah. I really need to get rid of that quirk. Druo really needs some treatment. Well, when we get back to the hamlet with our score, I can do that. After fighting probably 4 or 5 more hateful Viragos at this rate. Would be helpful if we could get some scouting, but we've had... our scouting luck in this mission has been so bad that we even found a map and it somehow still didn't give scouting.
Annihilated.
I was expecting that to only wound him. May as well use Divine Comfort because a couple people are below full health. Battle Ballad, that's part of the plan. And Hugh. Almost. Still did a lot, but I was hoping it would kill at least one of them.
How quickly
Whoa.
the tide turns.
That... I'm not used to Bump in the Night being dangerous. Stick with Battle Ballad, even though I probably should go for Inspiring Tune. Adrenaline Rush to save up for when the Blighted Crone is no longer in stealth. And I'm just gonna quick Embrace the Light. And there we go. Okay, now we're down to just the Crone all by herself.
The blood pumps. The limbs obey.
Let us be done with this rabble. Well, keep going for the stress. I really like the Bright Tambourine. The extra effect of the
A momentary
stress skills is really useful.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
I've learned that one the hard way. I'm also actually not going to open that because we only have 2 anti-venoms left in the entire operation.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
There's really nothing here I'm willing to drop in exchange for that. Of course, then I'm gambling that we will encounter more Onyx. Okay. Ah, bandits. You know, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of comforting after all the craziness to encounter something relatively normal. I have an idea.
Masterfully
The
executed.
idea didn't count on the critical, but the critical is always welcome. And Harvest. Because he can still take out the infamous Cutthroat relatively quickly. And Druo can pretty much heal them about as fast as they can damage them. Heal us about as fast as they can damage us. And Bowen is long past the point of putting up with any of their shit. If it bleeds... Divine Comfort. Blanket Fire. Wait, that's not a good thing. Shank. Also not good. Very, very not good. And Chop.
Monstrous size has
Yes.
no intrinsic
Yes, you
merit,
just heard me get
unless
disappointed about a
inordinate
critical hit.
exsanguination be considered a virtue.
That sound you heard was me actually being disappointed that I got a critical hit, because I was hoping that he would stay on the field. Oh, we can still handle the Fusilier. For you, let's go with some Adrenaline Rush.
Slowly.
Because now he's out of range
This
of...
is how life is taken.
And Bowen has just decided to have every critical.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick
Got
of the
Onyx
light?
for the Ruby, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And there's a secret door back here. But we don't have the inventory space for it. Okay. How close are we to the end? We're actually we're close-ish to the end of the mission. I'm going to take a risk and light up the firewood.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable.
Alright.
Rats in a maze.
Now, first thing we need to do is Sanctuary. Second thing we need to do is get everyone's stress to basically 0. And may as well go with Reflection for the leper. And it only costs 2. We can encourage the Hellion and get everyone's stress to actually 0. Okay.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
The main purpose of that was just to stock up on some extra to get some extra inventory space. And now we're going back for that secret door. Funny that it wasn't on the map. Oh, I swear, we didn't... The only explanation I can think of is we didn't actually get a map. We just got, like, an IOU. It's like, there's... Instead of a map, there's just, like, a picture. It's like, remember to... With a note, like, remember to add map texture. Okay. Use our last key. And... You know, I'm actually going to drop a stack of torches.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
We have a second stack of torches, which also means we have inventory space for more torches as we find them. And also, I have dazzling light to create more light if the torches are a problem. Now I just need to get through all of the nothing to get to the lower part of the map where I assume the rest of the enemies are. I mean, with my luck, there theoretically could be one room battle here, and that's it, and the rest is just empty. But then again, I really doubt that's the case. Alright, and let's go digging.
Wealth beyond measure.
Not really.
Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
And now we have another inventory space and could have taken the jade. Oh, and even more scouting. Well, somewhere in this hallway there's going to be violence. Once again, leaving that because anti-venom is kind of scarce in this area. Ooh. Alright, I can't reach this thing right now, so if it bleeds. And the aforementioned dazzling light. His stun resistance is pretty high, though.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay, Confusion Spores is tolerable. And I really like Harvest a lot. So the leper can only move forward. Let's go. If I move him forward again, I'll just undo what I did with the leper. So I'm gonna go with Battle Valley. He at least has something that he can do when he's out of position.
Well struck.
Ooh. And there's that critical bonus showing us what it's worth. There we go. Now we're back in formation, and you can even use... Bowen's the real MVP here. How many criticals is he up to now? At least, like, 5. I mean, Druel is doing... Everybody else is doing fine. Nobody is, like, the weak link of this team. Okay, there. That will end the Crone, leaving us with just the Shadows.
A death by inches.
Move 1. And...
A decisive pummeling.
And... As if to show off, Bowen decides to get us another critical.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
And I'm going to use the anti-venom we just got to interact with this thing. It isn't ideal, but we're near enough
Glittering
the end
gold,
of the mission.
Trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
There we go. Could have sworn there were more uses for medicinal herbs in this area. I honestly
For
may just
fortune,
end up dropping them.
waiting to be spent.
I am really glad that we got that secret door, though, because, well, we really need money right now. Okay, I haven't asked for scouting before in this mission, but I'm about to ask for scouting. I would really like to have some scouting so I know whether or not I have to go down here. Ah, great. Grave digging is not to help. Ah, great. Now Drool is diseased in addition to having a quirk we have to get rid of. Well, let's engage in just a little bit more grave robbery. We've already done it once. What can it hurt
If
to do it
only
again?
treasure could staunch the flow
At
of
least this time we use
otherworldly corruption.
practice safe grave robbing. Use a shovel. Also, I'm just gonna take a moment. Darkest Dungeon. Thank you for, in the sense of fair play, giving me scouting to here, so we don't need to go here. But we got 2 more room battles, at least, and more heirlooms I don't need.
The twisted
Well, he was
faces of
bound to
damned,
show up at some point.
piled high and cloaked in malice.
Ah. What do we got? Okay, slice off on the Vestal.
A singular strike.
Iron Swan. Wear him down. Chop.
Decimated.
Slice off wasn't even necessary. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get rid of some of the collected minions in order to, and that's Rampart, basically. I believe every one of their abilities, or at least the vast majority, are abilities that the living versions of those classes also have. Just the names are changed to be head
and
counts.
improvement.
Left Claw. Iron Swan. Iron Swan will get him eventually, but I'm not going to rely too much on that.
In the fevered pitch of
They all have the same maximum health. Well, yeah, without a critical, he's not going to be able to one-shot those. But, like, that's just Open Vein, just with a different name, and the other head knocker is just Rampart. You know, with the way they're positioned, yeah, we want Battle. A critical or 2 from our Hellion could actually make a big difference. Especially since we need to overcome lifesteal. Though, Koliar has decided to prove that we don't need to overcome lifesteal. Now you see, that's just Defender.
the wounds of war can be healed.
The Vestal ones are the ones that I think are actually different. Though, of course, they have more leeway than we do in the positions they can attack to and from. Also, oh, you're going to use Defender? Well, in that case, you.
A powerful blow.
Summer before the fall. Bleeding before the death blow check. Actually, nope, no bleeding this time. And Iron Swan with its gradually increasing critical rate. Still no critical yet, but it's looking like it might not even be necessary. Now I'm going to go for Harvest, though. And yet another critical. It would be very helpful if I can make all of his minions die around the same time as each other. Yeah, that still isn't going to work when I have access to Hugh collecting Man-at-Arms. Don't you know how Defender abilities work? I mean, I didn't for most of this project, but... Also, he always seems... The Collector, when he uses Lifesteal, always seems to gain more hit points than he takes away, but it's not clear, like, that exactly how much more. Whoa.
Mortality clarified
That's
in a
bad.
single strike.
That's epically bad. Well, if you can cause bleeding, I can cause bleeding. Or
This
not.
is no place for the weak or foolhardy.
Okay, that was impressive. That was that fight turned around fast. Okay, so we apparently... That's the second consecutive fight with the Collector where we've lost someone. This time specifically to bleeding damage. I wonder what his death blow resistance was. I wonder what the odds of that happening were. Iron Swan. Haha, now... Oh, of course, now we get a critical. It's going to be even more difficult to overcome lifesteal. And you continue with the head games. Just keep healing the Hellion. And Hugh. This is going to be difficult, but I think we can win. Especially since he hasn't gotten a Vestal yet, so he doesn't have a healing minion. Well, he can use Lifesteal. Yes, I was about to say that. Thank you for demonstrating it for me, Collector. We can damage our way... We can out-damage that, I think. It's just going to be hard. And fortunately, they've been missing us a lot lately. And it had to end sometime, I suppose. Well... Haha! Another critical. Need a little bit more damage and we're done. No, I meant a little bit more damage to the enemy. Though thank you, Collected Highwaymen, for demonstrating what damage is. That's what death looks like. That is not good. Let's go with Adrenaline Rush. We're gonna need the damage boost. And Divine Grace, because we need the Hellion to remain alive. Okay, show Collection. Dude, yeah, that caused some stress. Let's go abbreviate Collection. Alright. Head Knocker is not likely to matter this time. Aside from the fact that it causes quite a bit of damage. Because he's within range of Hugh. And also Wicked Hag.
Collection scatters.
Okay.
The rats prepare to feast.
Alright. Dropping the Medicinal Herbs for the Bright Tambourine. Dropping the Onyx for the Puzzling Trapezohedron. And I'm willing to lose the dice. Okay, light up another torch. I think we can still finish the mission. It will not be easy. I no longer think that we can finish the mission. I'm uncertain that I even want to continue this fight because I'm not confident that we can beat this team composition with 3 people. Without access to... 1, it's going to inflict a lot of stress, and 2, without access to the midline bleeding abilities that the Jester used to have, I'm honestly not sure I can beat these guys. I think we just hit a wall. I'm just going to retreat. Yeah, there are 3 more room battles. I'm not confident this team can pull that off. And the thing is, we have accomplished one of our goals for this mission. We have a ton of money, and money was a significant issue. The Ancestor's Ring would have been nice, but we can live without it. So let's just get out of here. Yeah, they'll suffer the stress of defeat.
But not the end of things.
But, I mean, we got 21,000 gold. And some diseases. And a winded Hellion. Okay, I might want to lock in Bowen's tough status. And a hemophiliac Vestal. That could be a problem. And Druel now has 2 really destructive quirks instead of just 1.
All the decadent horrors I have seen pale in comparison to that final crowning thing.
Are you like the creature's hype man ancestor? Like, you really sound like you're trying to, like, hype up the crowd for when the final horror shows up. Alright. More stress treatment. Okay. Anybody else who's not currently being treated for something and who can be. So, Pennant and Vilhardane. Okay, we've burned through a substantial portion of our cash, but we have actually got almost everyone under stress treatment. This is what happens when the missions aren't successful. Alright. Rotgut Sensor, that's interesting. Increased accuracy and reduced max HP. Oh, that... Also, I just realized, our roster is still considered full, because the guy who died was one of the Darkest Dungeon veterans. He doesn't count against the roster, which means that a spot hasn't opened up, so I can't even replace him with someone. Now let's see if anybody has any negative quirks I could potentially treat. See if I can afford to treat Montfort's Necromania. 4,500, yes. But that really is all I can afford to treat, so we're going to need to go on another mission pretty soon. So before I do that, I'm going to quick get us up a fresh recording file. I will be back in a moment.
I remember days when the sun shone and laughter could be heard from the tavern.
Well, that's a cheerful note to start this section on. Yep, I'm back, and we don't really have enough gold to do much else, so let's see what missions we can get. And, the abomination is looking even more abominated than usual. Let's see, so we can get critical dice. A sly eye patch, that might be okay. Manslayer's ring, I think we have several of those. Let's see, I don't have an antiquarian, but I still think taking on a long mission might be a good idea. So let's take our level 2 Vestal. And... well, let's see, of the 5 people that I can... of the 4 other people that I have to fit into 3 spaces, 2 of them are mark-oriented and 2 are not. So... I think I'm going to bring McDowell and put McDowell in position 4 and put the Vestal in position 2, or in position 3. Then have the Highwayman in position 2 and the Man-at-Arms in position 1. So, yeah, you can use all of your abilities from that position. Right. Place Bolster with Defender. Starting at the beginning, so... you don't have Sniper's Mark. Well, I actually have the ability to fix that. I have enough gold to afford for you to learn Sniper's Mark. And you're already fully upgraded. Okay. It kept my team composition. Alright, now let's look into trinkets. Unequip all trinkets. Sort. Let's go for the Wrathful Bandana and the Vengeful Greaves. Also, thinking I drop Bola for Sniper's Mark. Well, yeah, Sniper's Mark, and then I'll drop Rallying. You don't actually have Battlefield Bandage. Well, let's just quick go back to the guild and also learn Battlefield Bandage. I forgot about that one. I'm so used to having all of the basic abilities unlocked that I'm not really... that I sometimes forget that heroes start out without those abilities unlocked. Alright. Yeah, let's keep Battlefield Bandage. We're not likely to encounter enemies that use marking abilities. I can switch to something else if the stress levels get too high. Let's do a Tome of Holy Healing, and I could go with the Ancestor's Scroll, but the issue with that is... that increases the stress that the Vestal accumulates, and this is already a long mission. Gunslinger's Buckle. And let's go with the Stalwart Buckle as well, to just get some really high damage criticals. And do we... okay, so the Cleansing Eye Patch, but we're going into the Crypt, so that isn't really any good. The Flesh's Heart, however, is always good. And... I'm gonna quick give this instead of the Vengeful Greaves. It's not perfect because she's also the hero that inflicts the marks, but it could still be useful. And... I'm actually gonna leave the portrait at home this time. Instead, I'll give him the Martyr's Seal. Because of the extra death blow resistance and max HP. That's good for a tank. Alright. And yeah, we're going here. The portraits don't matter, but the Manslayer's ring matters. And more importantly, the long mission just means they'll get more experience. Alright, bring us some bandages. No, don't need that many. I believe there are enemies that can inflict blight. I'm gonna bring... You know, I'm gonna leave the medicinal herbs at home. I'm fairly certain there are no curios that require them. But we are bringing holy water. Blockages are possible, but they're not that common. And bring plenty of food, because hunger is a serious problem. Alright, we're about ready. Nope, nope, I'm not forgetting the torches again. Alright, and here we go. Yep, skeletons.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign.
Okay, this map layout is going to pose a bit of a challenge. I think I can handle it, but we're in for a bit of a hike. It is kind of interesting. The layout in some of these missions essentially becomes a puzzle, how to get through all the rooms with a minimum of backtrack.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Alright, I am planning on avoiding this hallway, so I can avoid that obstacle. And that reward's handsomer than the last one. So, go through here, go down here. I doubt I can afford to skip more than 2 rooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So yeah, 18, and I have to explore 90%, meaning rounded up, I can skip 2 rooms. I can skip either 1 or 2. Ooh, a Shambler's Altar! It definitely wouldn't be a disastrously bad idea to interact with that right now. That's totally fine, no unnecessary risk there. Yeah, I doubt I'll even have the resources to come back for that one, but maybe if the opportunity presents itself. Okay. I want the Courtier dead. Sniper's mark. And pistol shot. Just barely not enough damage. Well, that'll take care of it.
Formation is broken.
In case you're wondering, I went
offensive.
I went with Dazzling Light because I wanted the extra torch value. Okay, so we still have to deal with 1 brawler, but that's not too bad. The old gods are a lot less dangerous than the new gods. Pistol shot. Oh, I forgot to equip Divine Comfort. Well, I wanted to go for Judgment.
Destroy them all.
Right. And may as well go with Battlefield Bandage. I was hoping it would do a little bit more than that. But now I can Rampart him into position 2. Set up Sniper's Mark. You know... Actually, never mind. I'm keeping these as they are. Divine Grace. That did a lot. Those are the same healing numbers I was getting from my champion level
Press
vessel.
disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
That's actually really, like, now that I think about it, that's actually really surprising. So,
as victories mount, so too will resistance.
I was consistently healing for 13 in the previous mission where I brought a team of champions. So a Resolve level 6 Vestal with maximally upgraded Divine Grace was healing for 13. And now a Resolve level 2 Vestal with Divine Grace level 3 is healing for the same amount. That must have just been an unusually high healing roll. I mean, they also had the same trinkets, so it can't be a difference in the trinket behaviors. Okay, light that up. Okay, this is going to be my first room skip, because it would add unnecessary backtracking. Ooh! Ow. I'm not going to touch the alchemy table. That just seems like a trap. I'm sure there's some way to have a good interaction with it, but I don't know how that is. 6 to 11. 3 to 7 without a critical. Okay, that's actually basically what I wanted to happen. I have a plan. It does require us not to take too much damage. Crush. It also requires us to miss rarely. 4 to 6, so wipe out the conscript.
Falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Sniper's mark on the Armlest. That was less successful than I was hoping that it would be. Apparently everybody's missing today, though. And 8 to 16, so yeah, the odds of that finishing him off were relatively low. But that will finish him off.
Surges as the enemy crumbles.
I've come to discover that Judgment is really helpful for cleaning up enemies that are mostly dead. Okay, so we managed to make it so they get to use Quarrel once, and that's all they get to do. I choose to imagine that McDowell has taken Moncel under her wing, and she's, like, instructing him, and that's why she just keeps standing in the back and using Sniper's mark. Like, okay, shoot that one. And then he takes the shot, and then just, okay, now shoot that other one. That's my explanation for how these things
But
have,
a victory nonetheless.
Let's see what this does. Didn't think so. Let's just interact with it and see. Oh, it just gives him a buff. Dodge and protection. Okay. I might remember that they can have that effect. Ah. Came from nothing, you'll not end with nothing.
If
Well,
only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
okay, more of this. And, as usual, we get the tempting goblet. You know, at this point, I choose to imagine he isn't, like, gibbering madly. He's just telling them what has happened to the other people who've been under my command. Okay, decent chance of one-shotting the courtier.
Another
There we
one
go.
falls.
Okay. You really need some healing. Also, unfortunately, this team doesn't contain any good stress management abilities, so that could become a problem. Can you one-shot either of these? No. In that case, Rampart the more dangerous one.
The ground quakes.
Alright. And McDowell will continue instructing the highwayman. Gonna stick with the healing for now. Enemy teams tend to crumple a lot faster at this difficulty level.
Decimated.
Damn, I missed your eyes. And the highwayman is definitely taking these lessons in very well. Now let's see if we can stun the other guy. And yeah, McDowell, it's your turn to kill something. Well, in theory, anyway. Okay, so we gotta deal with Doomsday one more time. He's telling them stories about the things that have happened to the other teams that I've led. Stories that are definitely, absolutely, 100% false and not true in the slightest.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Alright, let's grab some healing food. Gotta admit, the Flesh's Heart is actually probably, in my opinion, the best of, or at least one of the best of the trophies. I mean, Vol's Tassel is pretty good, too. Okay. So not only are we out of position, but I think we're also going to have to eat a good number of attacks before we get to do anything. And they know who to target. Torch. These enemies are so fragile. I have an idea. I probably should have used Judgment for that, but this way if I fail to kill him...
Star is born.
Rampart. Rampart your way forward. So I'm gambling that Moncel can use Grape Shot Blast in position 1, which he cannot. Okay, looks like that part of the plan is happening next turn. You know what? You really don't need to be in position 4. I got an idea. You use Sniper's Mark for now. The only real reason why McDowell needs to be in position 4 is for the extra damage, the damage bonus, but she's mostly been supporting the other characters. And frankly, the enemies are fragile enough that the extra damage isn't really that important. Okay. Go with some Retribution. I'm just going to use Retribution and Defender for him. And McDowell gets to show us why she's the professional.
Executed
there we
with
go.
Impunity.
That's how an expert kills something.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Let's drop the move stone. I generally prioritize keeping character-specific trinkets over generic ones. And the sarcophagus has gold. We'll probably sell the scouting whistle for more than 250 gold. Alright, and commence backtracking. Oh, where were you guys when we went through this hallway last time? Okay. Can't stun the cultist witch, but you can stun the madman, which
The way
is
is
good because
lit.
we need to
The
keep the
path
stress
is
intake
clear.
minimal.
We require only the strength
Sniper's
to bar
Mark.
it.
Sniper's Mark has a critical chance. Rampart this guy, so he has to use Stumbling Scratch. After he recovers from stun, he will have to use Stumbling Scratch. Decent chance to one-shot, but no such luck. So, so we have to deal with whatever she does and rend for the old gods. Stressful incantation on the wrong target. Fortunately, we're not fighting in the darkest dungeon where the enemies know to concentrate the stress on one person. Though that horror effect is going to be a bit of a problem. But see, she follows up by stressing out someone else. Alright, and suppressing fire will eliminate the witch. 4 to 8, so it can't one-shot any of them without a critical. Pistol shot could finish off the brawler. Well, judgment will.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Okay, the cultist brawler managed to miss, and now just to make his day... No, I'm stunning the madman. I was gonna stun the brawler, but honestly, stress is more of a threat than damage right now. And frankly, the man-at-arms is gonna need some help bringing down the cultist. May as well get everybody up to completely full health. Rampart's stun is 110%. Yeah, but it can't reach. So this time we stun the brawler, and the hope is to be able to finish the madman off with sniper shot, and we can. I mean, it did 5 to 10, and he had 8 hit points. So, doing extremely rough math, I'd say probably had a 50% chance.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Okay, now last torch to get another stack of gold. Just want to collect all the gold from this mission and just fill it into a big vat and take a bath in it. That's what I'm gonna do with the gold. Don't question it. Don't question me. This is definitely a good idea. This is definitely a responsible use of mission funds. Okay. And the exploration continues. About to jinx it, but I'm genuinely surprised we haven't gotten hunger yet. Also, pretty soon, I think I'm not going to light up any more torches, and pretty soon I'm just going to, and now we get hunger. I jinxed it. I'm going to just make camp. Honestly, I think in this next room, because the man-at-arms' stress level is becoming a significant problem. Okay, no known curio interactions for that one. So, we need to clear out some inventory space. Let's make camp.
A moment
Feast,
of respite.
because everybody could use the
A
stress
chance
reduction.
to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Sanctuary. Sanctuary! I'm gonna gamble on Gallows Humor. mostly successful. Alright. Encourage the man-at-arms and encourage the Arablest. And now that we're all done encouraging each other and the stress levels are down to manageable,
The light, the promise of safety.
let's just keep going this way. It's kind of interesting to notice how far I've come in this game. When I was first starting out, those midnight surprises were really serious problems, as the torch level always starts off as 0 with a nighttime ambush. Then I learned that there are several classes with abilities that guarantee that you won't have one. Okay, this is the other room I'm skipping. I think I can skip to. I think it either... I'm fairly certain that it either rounds up or rounds to the nearest whole number when deciding. So 1.8, I'm fairly certain will round up to 2. Okay, so the Madman has better aim than the Brawler, though I suppose it's a lot harder to dodge words. Now let's just see if we can prevent the other Brawler from taking an action. Actually, in hindsight, I probably should have aimed for the Madman so that I could get the Brawler with Rampart. Okay, he cannot one-shot the Madman, and his odds of one-shotting any of the others are very low. But I can at least get that one close, and then Suppressing Fire only does 2 to 3, but Sniper Shot, still nothing. I was hoping we'd have better luck than that. Well, stun this guy. We're still at the point where enemies' base stun resistance is so low that it's almost a certainty that you will stun them if you use a stunning ability. Unless they've already been stunned.
The birthplace.
Oh, they're learning! They're starting to understand the concept of concentrating stress.
Confusion, nerves, and panic.
Okay, Suppressing Fire. That will end the Witch. And his health is just barely... You know what? I could maybe take him out without the, without a critical using Pistol Shot, but the odds are so small that I'm just going to go with this combination.
Destroyed.
If I'd known in advance that it was going to be a critical, it would have been better to skip Grape Shot Blast, but then again, now these guys are both injured. Stick with Dazzling Light. That's more for the increased torch level, actually. So anytime I can prevent them from inflicting damage, it's a good thing.
Success so clearly in view.
And Moncel is
Or
clearly
is it
taking his
merely
lessons
a
well
trick of the light?
when it comes to how to shoot people. Because we all know that a pistol and a crossbow are fundamentally the same. I mean, they're both projectile weapons, so the skills are all basically the same as each other. Right. Dazzling Light on the one that can inflict stress. Rampart on the one that can block attacks for others. Right. 5 to 10, so you can't one-shot that. So 5 to 10 for you, and then 8 to 13 for Pistol Shot. So if you take the shot, he should be able to finish it off. 7 to 13. So I need at least a decent damage.
Obliterated.
Or a critical. That could work too. So we have to deal with one rend for the old gods, and then we're good. Watch me actually using strategy like I know what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and Dazzling Light that one. And fail. Actually gonna go with Grape Shot Blast. Which I probably would have had to eat that stressful incantation anyway, because I doubt I could have taken her out with Pistol Shot, but she's now low enough that I can take her out with Sniper Shot. Unfortunately, Moncel was not good enough to duck the second time. But now, the Bone Defender is all by his lonesome. He has some dangerous abilities, but since he's basically their equivalent of a man-at-arms, he's not really that threatening by himself. The main danger is his ability to protect his teammates. Of course, since this is a novice-level mission, he's not really that dangerous, period.
To the task's end.
Okay. Let's see. We have a lot of bandages. I can afford to use one on our highwaymen. I'm used to having to conserve bandages to the point of sometimes having to leave bleeding untreated just because of how little damage it's doing. But at this difficulty level, all bleeding does very little.
Back to the pit.
Just grape shot blast away 2 of them and leave the last one at critical health. Slightly better luck, and he actually could have gotten all 3 of them. However, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to get just a little bit of healing in, because now I should still be able to finish with the sniper shot. There we go. More health. We have more health and less
Remind
stress
yourself
than we
that
had at the beginning of the mission.
overconfidence is a slow
Or at the
and
beginning of the fight, I
insidious
mean.
killer.
Okay, we have successful scouting. There's nothing in there, but, well, we still need to inspect the nothing and visually confirm that it is, in fact, nothing. We're also going to need to make camp again quite soon. It is weird, because there's so much less loot on, Ooh, this is an interesting place. I don't remember... I'm sure I've run into it and just not noticed it, but I don't recall seeing this background before. It's interesting. It's like... between the, like, altars and the candles and also the, dead guys in the background, I'm really getting a similar vibe to the, monastery that you explore in the original Diablo. Like, it's a very similar atmosphere. Anyway, at the end of the backtracking, I'm going to make camp again, because I think we have 4 rooms left in this rather uneventful scouting mission. I'm sure the heroes are grateful that this was one of the more uneventful missions. But we're in a room that's already been confirmed to be safe. Alright, and light up the other firewood. And we have enough food to feast again.
Circle in the dark.
So we
Battle
don't
may
quite have
yet
enough
be
to deal
won.
with hunger. Okay, start with Sanctuary. I actually probably should have used Bandit Sense instead. Completely successful Gallows Humor this time. And the Highwayman has been doing such a good job, I'm going to have him use Clean Guns to do an even better job. Okay. And yeah, we're actually
As the
pretty
light
good for
gains
inventory
purchase,
space.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hope... Aw, darn it. Well, you resisted the bleeding. But we had a key! I could have just opened it with the key. Zap one of them. Not that it'll make much of a
The
difference.
wounds of war can be healed,
Because that's about to
never
happen.
hidden.
Yeah, that Clean Guns damage buff is going to make a bit of a difference. I honestly kind of hope that the Collector shows up. Judgment. Judge Miss.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Alright. And McDowell has been webbed. And bitten. 6 to 10, so if you hit, which you didn't, you could have killed that one. Alright, now we're back into formation. Unfortunately, Spit also deals extra damage to Mark. Well, there we go.
Masterfully executed.
Now just quick heal the Arbalist completely back to full health and watch it all be taken away. Okay, she's at least less damaged. Well, go crush a spider.
This expedition
And
at least
I
promises
accidentally forgot to
success.
take the bandages. Okay, there is one hallway battle that could be the Collector, and I'm not kidding. I honestly hope the Collector shows up. I'm pretty sure we could take him with the condition that we're in, and it'd be an opportunity to get some more trapezohedrons. Instead, we have more spiders. Well, now we have fewer spiders.
A devastating blow.
Ha! How long is it gonna take before we don't get a critical hit? Okay, that was not a critical hit, but it is our 3rd consecutive one-shot. Let's see if we can make it 4. And there we go. Good work, team. Also, everybody got to kill exactly one spider. I mean, the Highwayman did a bit of did a little extra because he softened the others up. But okay, so this isn't what I was. This is not really what I was hoping it would be. Is it weird that I'm starting to be able to make out what the madman can say? I can tell that last bit was, "And there's no hope." And it's like, I'm starting to understand the crazy person. Should I be worried? Okay. Pistol shot on the acolyte. Dazzling light on the madman because the extra stress could actually be a real problem. I mean, it's not going to cause us to fail the mission. Okay, sniper's mark. There is method to my madness. But we're gonna have to deal with one of those. Fortunately, it's targeted at the man-at-arms and does almost nothing. Oh, and now you get to exploit your own mark. There we go. 60%, 120% base. So 60% chance to stun, well, setting aside the chance to miss. I'm just gonna stick with trying to stun the crazy guy because he's the biggest threat.
Precision and power.
And Moncello would like to remind us that he knows how to use that knife, too. But his first love will always be the gun. And at this point, we may as well just heal while we wait for the brawler to keel over. See if I can get a divine comfort in. I can! One full turn of healing and buffing, and that's the end of the brawler.
That cuts on its own.
Don't you love it when a plan comes together? Alright. Oh, drop the busts for the gold. The rest can stay where it is. We also picked up some food along the way, so we have enough to deal with hunger one time. Okay. Let's see what turn order we end up with. So pistol shot has a chance of one-shotting the torch here. And we all know what happens with chances. Okay, dazzling light. How much damage could Judgment do? 4 to 6. And it rolls high. We got 6. Rampart. Okay, and now... Yeah, 5... Okay, 5 to 10. I actually need a high damage roll, and I don't have one. So we have to... So, we had to do it both Portal and Graveyard Slash, and conveniently for me, both missed. Judgment, just to soften this thing up a little bit more, because that 25% protection could be a problem. But Sniper Shot, yep, can finish the job. Okay, so now we just need our man-at-arms to go before their soldier. He doesn't, of course. But, there we go. That's the end of that. And this, if I've done the math correctly, this should be our last room. And we have exactly enough food to deal with the last hunger. This mission has gone frighteningly well. Like, it really should go worse than... It feels like it should have gone worse than that.
Efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
And that's the end of that. Well, let's return to the hamlet. I'm not going back to take on the Shambler.
The shifted corridors and sloped walls of our ancestry are beginning to feel familiar.
Right, and made a decent amount of gold off of that. And nobody is too high level to continue with novice missions. Okay, Last Gasp is okay. Slow Reflexes is fine. Mankind Hater isn't very useful for a Vestal, but is tolerable.
Strength,
Militia
purpose,
training,
and peace. All can be found in the focused mind.
Idle man-at-armses. That's not how you... that is not how you pluralize that, Red Hook. Idle man-at-armses gain 1 resolve level. Well, this is actually an opportunity. You see, we have 5 Resolve level 2 people who are capable of taking on novice missions, and Corey, who is gradually turning into a monster, apparently. And one of them is a man-at-arms. So, if I send the other 4 on a mission, I can get each of them to Resolve level 3, possibly higher, and the man-at-arms will level up to Resolve level 3 passively by staying here. So, I'm gonna quick make sure they're fully upgraded equipment-wise, and then I'm just gonna do that. We need to train up reserves because, let's face it, more people are gonna die at some point. So, let's just do another mission of that. Okay, you've got everything. Crush, Rampart, Defender, and Retribution. Moncel, Pistol Shot, Grape Shot Blast, Tracking Shot, and Open Vein. McDowell, Sniper Shot, Suppressing Fire, Sniper's Mark, Battlefield Bandage. That should be good for you. And Talvis, you're good. And we're also relatively low on gold, so let's embark again. We could potentially get a bumper crop, which would further help with our funding problems. Okay, the downside is this is really not a very stable team composition. What abomination ability? What? Okay, so Manacles and Beast Bile cannot be used in position 1. Pistol Shot, Grape Shot Blast, and Pistol Shot and Grape Shot Blast cannot be used in position 2. Yeah, this isn't a very good team composition, unfortunately. Just across the board. So and unfortunately, we need to make it through a relatively long mission in order to do it. So this is not going to be easy. Let me see. So Divine Grace and Judgment you can't use in position 2. But Hand of Light and Illumination. Enemies don't use stealth at this point. Not an ideal setup to put a Vestal in the front, but I do have a backup healer in the form of my Aura Blessed. Let's just replace the Wolf's Tassel with Sort by Character Class Restriction. I know it's in here somewhere. Replace that with the Medic's Greaves, so you're now the Aura Blessed is now the backup healer, and okay, so Pistol Shot can't be used in position 1, Wicked Slice can, Open Vein can, and Point Blank Shot can. Okay, gonna quick pop back over to the estate for a moment and actually level up these abilities that Moncel will now have to use. Okay, that's good. We still have enough that we can afford to fund the mission. It probably needs to at least be a medium-length mission in order to have the highest probability of them all gaining a level. Our options are a medium mission or a short mission, so we're going with the medium one. And okay, Abomination or Aura Blessed, which one gets the portrait? Well, I have better trinkets for the Aura Blessed. So the Abomination gets the Protective Padlock. I'm not planning on using Transform very much. And he gets the portrait. So there's the possibility of McDowell not making it up to Resolve level 3. She needs 8 out of 14 she needs 6. So she may or may not, I don't remember offhand, exactly how much you get for this. And Sharpening Sheath, critical and bleed chance. And now I need something else that's good for melee combat. Let's see. So Could go for the legendary bracers, plus 20%. Yeah, I'll go with the plus 20% damage from the legendary bracer. The speed reduction isn't really a big deal. Okay, if this was anything other than an apprentice level mission, it would be suicide. It's an apprentice level mission, so I would say your so team, I'd say your chance of survival is greater than 0. How much greater? I suppose you'll find out. These medicinal herbs for the meat wagons. I believe holy water is helpful. We have torches, we need shovels. Okay. This looks feasible. Let's see if we can do this. This is, I think, the weirdest team composition that I've done on purpose.
Even the fiercest beast will lay down when it is not eaten. Steal their food.
I mean, I don't remember exactly what team compositions I was using right at the
Cruel
beginning.
machinations spring to life with a singular purpose.
I've probably done weirder team compositions essentially by accident because I didn't realize that they were weird. But this is the weirdest team composition I've actually done with the intent to use it. Alright. This thing is going to survive into round 2, so let's set up snipers on it. I'm imagining McDowell talking to our highwayman saying, okay, remember everything I taught you about being a sniper? Forget all of that. (15 to 27). Oh, but it knocks him out of position. Okay. Well, that can one-shot anyway. Hand of Light on the Wretch. Actually, wait, you can still use Dazzling Light, so let's see if we can stun.
The light.
I never thought I'd ever use a position 2 Vestal, but now I'm doing it. Okay. Oh, right, because it's faster than us. And Tetanus. Wonderful. Okay, what are the odds of... So their blight resistance is only 60%. Yeah, this is actually... Beast's Bile has actually a pretty good chance of blighting. Okay, open vein. And there we go. Okay, that leaves just the wretch.
Give them no quarter.
And we're going to stick with Hand of Light. Because that also buffs her damage. I mean, especially with the trinkets I gave her, her damage is pretty much crap. And I think it was probably a mistake not to change the trinkets that the Vestal had now that she's not able to use Divine Grace. But, well, it wouldn't be this channel if there weren't frequent mistakes. Okay, spiders. Their blight resistance is actually quite low, but the damage is... Okay. I'm actually still going for Wicked Hack. And Suppressing Fire. Okay, that's the end of one of the spitters.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands.
Open vein does 9 to... Yeah, 9 to...
Executed with impunity.
Yeah. Moncel is just kind of good at everything.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Into that. And there we go. Yeah. In response to the comments about this mission being dangerous...
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
In response to the comments about this mission being dangerous, Moncel has just decided he's going to win everything. He's like, no, this mission isn't difficult. I'm just going to do it all by myself. Though this is an example of a mission where I would really rather not run into the Collector. Because that might cause serious trouble. Goes Manacles, won't kill, but it can stun. Sniper shot. So sniper shot is pretty much a guaranteed kill against those things. Dazzling Light. Let's at least get them both stunned to guarantee they won't get an action next turn.
Another
Not
one
that that was
falls.
really necessary because of Open Vein. We are really dominating the spiders, and as I say that, I really should have just had her finish off the Weber. Well, there we go.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
I wouldn't call this hope particularly faint. This mission is going way better than it has any right to be, considering how weird of a team composition I went with. Oh, and that's our first grain sack. We're gonna have to drop something. Oh, just light the one... and it thinks that I'm trying to use that on the...
Finding the stuff is only the
Object.
first test.
I'm not
Now it
checking
must be
this
carried
hallway,
home.
just because that seems excessive even for me, but I am going to check this room. I'll come back to this hallway if I confirm that there's a, Oh, and now I have scouting. Alright, that's just a curio. And that's just hunger. So, still have this whole grid to deal with, but ironically, if we have decent luck with scouting, the grid shouldn't be too much of a problem. Which, of course, means that we won't have decent luck with scouting. Right. And they just get to shoot at us for a little while before we get to do something. Okay, Hind, my abomination friend, use Wicked Hack. I know technically it's called Beast Bile, but let's be honest, he's hacking up something pretty wicked. Alright. Stun one of
In
the
Radiance,
cutthroats.
may we find victory.
Okay, sniper shot does 8 to 14. It could one-shot Fusilier. And it
Obliterated.
did. There, that's the end of one cutthroat. And the other one is stunned.
Death by inches.
Alright, so now we have to deal with blanket fire because he's faster than us. Fortunately, they apparently they all know when to die.
Sedated.
Alright. Stun him. Honestly, in hindsight, I should have gone for the cutthroat. Because I can finish. Never mind. 8 to 13 or 9 to 18. Okay, Open Vein actually has a higher chance to kill him because of the bleeding damage. Or I could just get a critical hit. That's true too.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Okay, and we got a meat wagon. Alright. Oh. And nobody has taken any damage, so I can't even eat the extra 4 food. I just have to leave them here. Okay, and we finally have some scouting. Curio, quest location, Curio, room battle with Curio. We need to empty up an inventory spot, so... Actually, I think I know what I'm going to do. I'll wait until we actually get there. And that's why. So we have hunger, which reduces the amount of food in our inventory. And now I'm just going to drop the extra food in exchange for the food stuff crate. So we are dropping food in exchange for food. That's
often low on supplies.
entirely logical. I don't know, maybe it's like special, really awesome food or something. Slasher, a wretch, a crazy person, and a chopper. Even the swine have relatively low blight resistance at this difficulty level. Unfortunately, not low enough, apparently. And McDowell is now doubly sick. Okay, sniper shots. May as well stun the chopper, because I don't think I can kill him this round. And it doesn't matter, because he's not stunned. That was after I said that thing about how stun abilities pretty much always succeed. Okay, I can't one-shot him.
Impressive.
As I say I can't one-shot him, Monsell decides to prove me wrong. What is his crit rate? Because he's just been getting every critical ever. There's always a wishbone in the vomit. Go for the stun and miss again.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Just finish off the wretch. That way I don't have to deal with its last attack.
Slowly, gently.
Okay, that leaves just the Slasher and the Madman. Unfortunately, both of them are actually pretty significant threats. And McDowell is apparently having a bit of a bad day. And somewhat appropriately, since she has the highest stress, she's the one who's most likely to end up afflicted because of that. You just move forward one to get back in position. And yeah, let's just end the Madman. Okay, that just leaves the Slasher, who I can at least stun. That's a start. It's the first damage he's taken this fight. His bleed resistance is actually pretty low.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
And, that food can stay behind. Or that gold, I mean, can stay behind. Curio, Curio, Curio. Which means the quest location is in one of these two rooms. I'm gonna gamble that it's in this corner. Ah, cultists! So we've had a little bit of everything. We've had bandits, we've had swine, we've had crazy people, and now we have cultists. Just, I like variety in the things trying to kill me horribly. And you don't want the various ways in which you die horribly to get too monotonous.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
I really need to start using Beast's Bile less. It's usually really good, but in this situation, it frequently ends up being redundant.
Broken. Maintain the offensive.
Whereas manacles can at least prevent the enemy from getting a shot in. And even with the stun resistance buff, his stun resistance is only 75%. Of course, his death blow resistance is 0.
Foolish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
You sound entirely too excited about that prospect, Ancestor. Also, I completely forgot that I was going to make camp. Well, let's do that in this room. And we have plenty of food.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight, an uneasy companionship.
Actually, I'm going to go with Bandit Sense this time, because the extra chance of surprising enemies can be useful. And I meant to use Gallows Humor, not Clean Guns, but... In fact, Clean Guns is entirely redundant because he's using melee skills, but I literally clicked on the wrong button when I meant to go for Gallows Humor, and Gallows Humor failed on the person with the most stress, so now McDowell is actually in a bit of a bad way. Well... And unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that anymore.
Spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Okay, I'm gonna circle around anyway and take my chance with those traps. And I found more food that we don't want or need. But we're taking it anyway. Whoa! And I forgot about the trap.
Curious is the trap maker's art. His efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes.
Okay, this hallway might it does! I made the right call. Well, let's drop some of the extra. Let's drop some of the food in exchange for the food.
Paid for in blood.
Let's return to the hamlet.
These foodstuffs yield double benefit. The town may eat, and the swine will not.
And you better believe I'm gonna make use of that bumper crop as much as I can. Now, the main purpose of this was actually as a training exercise. Don't tell the heroes that, because they like to feel like they're contributing something really important to the mission. But the main goal here was just to get them some experience. And I fairly significantly misjudged the amount of experience we would get from that mission. Okay, he's got a torn rotator cuff. However, he's a meditator. The Vestal who has who got a disease and increased disease resistance in the same mission. And McDowell, oh no, she doesn't have a third disease. She just got photomania. It's actually pretty good.
A modest offering from those few surrounding farms as yet untouched by the spreading calamity.
Okay, so we got our bumper crop, and we have some diseases that are in need of fixing. Yeah, both of those are bad, but tetanus is worse. And let's get rid of the Vestal's tapeworm. Of course, McDowell is also going to need some stress treatment. So the good news is I have 3 people who are Resolve level 2 and close to reaching 3, and then a whole bunch of people who are Resolve level 3. So what I'll probably do for that team later is send them on a mission that was on a relatively short veteran mission. And I originally didn't like the antiquarian class, but we kind of need an antiquarian right now. Bullseye bandana, plus 8 accuracy and plus 5% critical chance. Let me see something. Unequip all trinkets, sort by character class. What do we have for an Aura Blast? So we have the Wrathful bandana and the Vengeful Greaves, but the Bullseye bandana does better than the Vengeful Greaves, at the only cost being reducing evasion. It's somewhat expensive, but that's actually pretty good. I'm gonna buy that. And that's absolutely all the gold we can afford to spend. So, having lost one of our people who survived the darkest dungeon, at least, yes, he survived the Dungeon of Bleeding, but he managed to die to fighting the Collector. At least he didn't die to normal enemies. I feel a little better that he died to what is essentially a boss in the form of the Collector, rather than just being murked by a cultist. But we lost one of our champions, but at the very least, the new people are coming along reasonably well. But that's going to be the end for this part. Thank you all for watching. I love you all, and I will see you next time.